Hey friends, can we do a special edition Reddit Rainbow? I was getting ready to tell y'all a funny story and I came across this post. Valentine's Day is coming up and I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really like Valentine's Day. I was going through a really hellish time in my life around Valentine's Day. And something in my soul told me I needed to read this story. I needed to read this post to y'all right now. I don't know if it's the cosmos or am I just but I would like to tell you my story. Mind every single trigger warning you can think of, okay? Something many don't know about me. This is a long ass story, so yeah. Today, in my memories, I saw this post, the aforementioned post. I escaped an abusive marriage. Many don't know, but I was married once before. I was too young and trusting. My family begged me to leave, but I didn't listen because he wasn't hitting me at first. It started with not being able to see my friends and family. Then it turned into him instilling doubt. No one will like you. You get chubbier every day. Don't color your hair. Get tattoos or piercings. You'll be gross and imperfect. I became a prisoner, and I married him anyway. It was winter, and we were arguing outside about something frivolous. That was the first time he slapped me in the face. He locked me out for a couple hours. I left the first time shortly after that. It was happening more frequently, but I came back because he said he'd change. He didn't. I was 21 and he was 25, and I retreated into a bottle, gaming, and general nerd shit, so I didn't have to think of where I was in life or if it was normal to not see a future with your spouse. Really quick, I remember people asking me if I could see myself in 50 years, and I couldn't see anything. Not even myself. Only his friends were allowed over, and they would say, oh, she can hold her liquor and talk about cool stuff. The pick me. I think that's when the fog started thinning. Eventually, they weren't allowed to come around, and the get-togethers ended, or I wasn't told about them. A couple weeks ago, I saw in my memories I got my tongue pierced. A lot of people don't know that this is when I put my foot down for the first time. He broke my copies of Mortal Kombat and Call of Duty MW3. Random thought, I don't play those types of games anymore. This is why. I knew this memory was coming soon after reading these memories. It was the first time I challenged him in 2 years. It was the first time I stood up and kept standing. We were together for a total of 4 years. The last fight. He attempted to choke me out and break my fingers so that I would let go of my car keys. I had my fingers through the keychains as I was scared if I let go, I wouldn't get to see tomorrow. I was losing hope. He suddenly got off of me and my brain screamed to open the garage door. I pressed the keychain button as he got off of me. I waited until he took a few steps back and got off the floor. I heard him go to the back of the house. I ran out the door. I started the car. I began burning rubber, but he got in the way. I didn't want to run him over. I thought he would talk to me now that I was out of his grasp. I rolled down the window enough to talk, but instead he tried to reach in and turn off the car. I started screaming and punched the gas, but I wasn't in gear, so my car revved loudly. My neighbor shot a round off. He jumped back. I got in gear and out of my driveway, and I had almost made it to the outer part of the neighborhood when my neighbor caught up with me. I was obviously hysterical. He calmed me down, said he heard me screaming while he was having a cigarette. He shot the round off. He promised to keep me safe and followed me to my parents' house. He helped explain what happened to my mom and dad. I didn't sleep a wink because I swore he was going to drive his car through their front door and pew me in the chest with my own 12. The next day, I made this post. He had destroyed everything that had recordings of the fighting and gaslighting before I ended up on the ground. I had only a story that none of my friends believed, and literally everyone around me said it was my fault. I know I made mistakes, but I didn't deserve that. But they seemed to think I did. I retreated further into myself, and my dad told me I was a shell of the person I used to be. And he was right. He encouraged me to reach out to my friends that I had before him. I miss my dad so much. I eventually reconnected with my old friends. I made new friends under the guise of running errands for him, aka getting out of the house. I would gain myself and then lose my father 10 months later. I met Slappa literally 1 year and 14 days after I wrote this post. And we married 2 years after that. We all know the rest of that story. If you think love is supposed to be hard or sometimes hurts, I just want you to know that nothing should ever hurt you. I won't say it isn't effortless, but I know that it should never be painful. If you find yourself in any of these situations, it's time. Have you ever cried long and hard because you found time to yourself and you didn't have to have your armor up? When you don't sleep for 40 plus hours because you're too paranoid to sleep, it's time to tell the truth to a trusted individual. When you feel safe when they are asleep and can't inflict mental or physical pain on you, when you watch the sunrise and wonder how many more you have left, or feel terror because that means they'll be waking up sooner than not, when the sun brings the dawn and the dawning of your mental armor, it's time to go. I won't delete this memory because it's a reminder that I survived. And you will too, I promise you. You will find peace. I will listen to you vent, and I guarantee you honesty without malice. Be safe out there, my loves. Share my survival story. Share with me yours if you feel okay enough. You have my heart, and you can do this. You do not have to feel hopeless. You are not as isolated as you think you are. I don't know. I just feel really compelled to tell y'all my story because it's Valentine's Day, and I know that this was a really hard time for me, and it's so weird seeing how much pain I was in versus how far I've come now, you know? And I guess I just want y'all to know that if you're afraid and it's Valentine's Day, you don't have to be, and one day you'll make your escape too. And I'm living proof.